Hello, welcome back everyone. I'm in the garage again, and we're going to do a short spot repair here on the ceiling in the garage. We had some insulation work done, and someone stepped on the ceiling and crushed it in a little bit, and I wanted to show you guys how I'm going to attempt to fix this. So stay here with me and we'll get to it. Here we go. We've got a bit of a mess here. This thing was crushed in. I pushed it up a little bit with my hand to no avail. A couple spots where it's popping down. Now, one of the issues we have here, you see the seam where normally we would use, I'll show you the tape we would use for that to make the repair, but the joists are going this way, and I pre-marked them with a pencil already before starting this video where the joists are going, so kind of wish they were going this way. This is a real big mess here. If this wasn't my garage and it was a room inside the house, I'd probably put some additional blocking, another 2x4 in between, fasten in between the two ceiling joists, and then have some more to screw into. So we're going to figure out how we're going to repair this. Again, it's a garage repair, so might do it just a little differently than I would if it were inside the house, but just to get this cleaned up and to look a lot better than it does now. Well, now we're talking about what kind of a joint tape we're going to use on this repair. For the usual paper joint tape, that's what I would use if I were just joining seams for a new drywall or sheetrock installation. However, when you have a bit of a mess like we have on that ceiling, and you've got holes and it's jagged and there are large gaps, we're going to go with the fiberglass mesh tape. These are the main two options you have. There's another one that I'm going to talk about in a future video. I'm going to link up here soon, not right away, but to a whole drywall and spackling tutorial series where we'll talk about things like the materials, knives, sanding options, all kinds of things, the joint compound options, all of that. In this situation for our repair today, we're using the Easy Sand 45. I'm going to go through all of that for you in a future series that I'll link up here, but for this repair we're going to use the fiberglass mesh. We're going to be tearing some of this stuff off, but the issue we have is, like I said, there's nothing to support this. Makes it very difficult. See this, I'm pushing up here right along that line. I might have to screw in to start supporting here, and then we'll peel this away, use that tape. Same thing here. And all this we're going to just cut out and put the fiberglass tape, I think, over everything. So after some careful consideration, I decided to come up here and put this blocking in anyway. So I got these cross braces where we've got some additional wood to screw the sheetrock into for additional support. I added these things in here just now off camera, and I'll go down below and show you where it comes across the ceiling, and then you'll watch me secure it. You can see the gap here between here and which means we got to push this up, screw up into here, and we should be okay. So that one cross brace is across the seam, which is where we wanted it, so we can screw up in here and tighten it up. And the other one is right across here, so I'll be putting a couple screws here, and then that center piece that I laid flat goes right here where we can put screws in and tighten this thing up here the best that we can, so we've got some support. Because if I just cut away some of this loose stuff and put joint compound over the middle, it would weaken, and then you'd see it later on, and we don't want that. So any case, that's what the plan is. So gonna hit this with some screws. Put this away because it's overlapping and I want to relieve the stress. Okay, this is solid now. Okay, I've got my 45 mix. Need to work quickly. First thing I'm going to do is just fill in just a little bit here, backfill some of these deep holes before I come over with the fiberglass mesh. Now we're going to go back over this. And we just want to put a coat over it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. We'll be sanding it. So we didn't want to go too thick, make it just a little sloppy, but get the base coat down. We're going to let it dry. We're going to come back with a wider tool and start to make this thing look a lot better. All right, this is dry for the most part, except for a little bit in here where it was really thick. I'm going to take this, and we're not sanding right now. I'm just going to knock down a little bit of the high points, and then we're going to go back and put joint compound over it again across the entire surface, and we'll sand after that dries. All right, we're going to leave it like this. Going to let it dry. It's going to probably take a couple of hours, and then we will sand and then do a final coat. So that coat now is dry and it's looking pretty good. I'm going to sand just a bit lightly, knock down some of the spots where you can visibly see where it needs to be sanded, and then if it looks good enough, I'm going to leave it and then prime. Otherwise, I'll come back over with another coat. Let's talk about sanding now, what your options are. So when sanding such a large area, I like to use something like this. They also make it in this version here where you can screw a pole onto it for areas you can't reach. If I can reach it, I prefer to use this with my hand, because sometimes using this, this thing flips over on you when you've got the long pole on it. So I definitely prefer this. You can wet sponge if you'd like, if you don't have a large area. This also helps to taper the edges too. Maybe you can do a combination of both. So we're going to use this right now and get sanding. So that job is essentially finished. It wasn't about the finishing part with the fine sanding and the painting. The video was really about how to fix the damaged ceiling, and you saw how I did it using the fiberglass mesh tape. I had to put a little blocking up in the ceiling to create a spot where we can screw into to grab hold. As you could also see, it was a very straight, smooth finish at the end, and a successful job. No one's going to notice when you're all finished after your fine sanding and priming and painting that there was ever an issue in that ceiling. So I hope this helped you we've got spackle videos coming, which I'll get more in detail as to how to spackle and feathering, and where you put the weight on the knife and everything. I didn't want to cloud this particular video, which was more about fixing the ceiling than it was about spackling. So look for a spackle video soon. Thanks again for watching. If this video was interesting or if it helped you, please hit that like button. That helps the channel. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.